One of the most devastating effects of violence on a human being, whether it is done by a member of one's family/friend or indeed a perfect stranger, is the weight the act leaves on the emotional and mental health of the victims. Long after physical scars have healed, the emotions of victims remain fresh as they try to grapple with the violent acts committed against them. When we come back, we will discuss more on this issue. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of The Moment Show with Pastor FUNKE. As always, it's our pleasure to have our studio audience here, and also to those of you at home, welcome. Is the subject of the mental and emotional health of victims of violence receiving enough attention by those charged with the responsibility of protecting them? Do we understand how these victims feel and how best to help them get over the trauma of being assaulted by the people they once trusted in many circumstances? Joining me in the studio today is a woman of many paths. She's a broadcast journalist, writer, poet, and media consultant. Best known as a news anchor and former executive director of programs for the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. She's considered one of Nigeria's finest broadcasters and comedians. Since retiring from the NTA, she's been working with victims of domestic violence and rape, having obtained certification in psychology and counseling. Join me in welcoming a dear sister and fantastic lady, Eugenia Abu.
Thank you.
You are so welcome to The Moment Show. God bless you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. You're wonderful and humble. All right, so we're going to get straight into this interview. Now, I'm aware that as a counselor, you've been working with all these victims, even children who've been abused by those that, they've been given responsibility to. Now, do we know enough about the emotional health of victims of abuse?
Well, abuse it really starts small. If you understand it, it may not look like anything at first. The abuser is a very smart person, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman. It starts small, and for a while you probably take it as correction if it's emotional abuse. And after a while, when it becomes really intense, then you begin to find it controlling. The abuser then begins to ensure that you are where they want you to be. Sometimes they make you wear the clothes they want you to wear. And after a while, you become basically a robot to the abuser. And for a long time, you may not think about it as abuse until you find that you're a little bit out of your depths. So yes, the victims suffer self-deprecation. They're constantly doubting themselves.
Wondering if they're good enough.
Yeah. They have doubts about themselves. They have no self-esteem. They can't mix with a lot of people because the abuser tells them that I'm the only one good for you. Whether it's a man or a woman, your family members don't matter. And after a while, they begin to tell you things like, if they physically abuse you, if you're a woman, for example, the man begins to tell you that that auntie of yours is also being abused, the one who is constantly complaining. You are not in their family. You don't know what they do. She's just pretending. I'm just gently correcting you. You know how much I love you. Then they deceive you, and the cycle of violence continues. So yes, the victims suffer lack of proper sleep, inability to mix with public, self-doubt, lack of self-esteem, and sometimes they begin to harm themselves just because they feel that they are alone.
Wow. I tell you, as a pastor, I do come across victims frequently, in fact, sadly.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I notice is the attempt by the abuser to isolate them. Are there signs that those who are seeing them, maybe their families, who no longer have as much access to them. Are there signs that those people can begin to pick up very quickly to let them know that, listen, your daughter or your son needs help because they don't talk about this thing? What are the signs that people should look for, loved ones?
Yes, I mean, if you begin to see opposite behavior, if the person was a very excitable, happy kind of person, and suddenly they're a bit gloomy, every time they visit, they don't, if they were chatty and they're suddenly no longer talking as they used to, if they are withdrawing, they don't want to visit. Every time you say you are coming, they say they are not home. Every time they come, they don't make eye contact. They don't look at you.
They don't look at you because you can tell.
Yeah, you pick it out of their spirit just by looking at the depth of their eyes, the sadness behind their eyes. So they don't look at you. They avoid your eyes. All right? And a lot of the times, they begin to act differently. They're slightly more aggressive. For example, you say, oh, if it's a sister, you say, let's go to that shop we used to go. I don't want to go there. And you're thinking, but it was something you really used to enjoy. How come now? And when she says she doesn't want to go there, it's not on a normal decibel. It's almost quarrelsome.
Yeah.
It's almost like there was a fight you can't remember. So she's saying to you, I don't want to go there. Why do we want to go there now? And you're saying, but we're not doing anything there. And you know how you used to like, well, I don't want to go there anymore. That's a sure sign. Something is going on. They lose interest in activities they really used to enjoy. Maybe you used to go out to eat before. You want to go out to a restaurant. And she says, let's just cook.
Wow.
Or he says, I don't want to go there if it's your brother. He's being harassed emotionally or she's being harassed physically. There are telltale signs of someone who says to you, I fell down the staircase. She has scar, black eye, you know, all kinds of. Then she wears sunglasses indoors, and you're trying to get. She goes, no, I'm having some problems with lots of light, something. Watch for scars on their body, because they then start wearing long clothes. You can't see, you know. And they really start shutting down on the things they really enjoy.
I find that it's easier to even pick those who are being abused physically, beaten up. But when it's emotional abuse, that's a different matter. When they're being abused emotionally, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I almost think that that's even worse.
It is.
Can you talk to us about emotional abuse?
Emotional abuse is very complex. And because it's very complex, it's difficult to pick. If somebody tells you that I'm changing a little bit, I'm becoming more introspective, I'm thinking about my life, you're not going to think that the person is becoming silent. You're just going to think the person is maturing. It's difficult to tell because the signs are almost similar. If somebody is maturing and decides that she doesn't want to be a chat box anymore, people change. But if there is emotional abuse going on, then the person begins to do things that are interesting, like they don't care about the way they look. They show up in your house, their hair is not in place, they're thinking a lot. Their clothes have not been properly laundered, not well ironed. They're letting go of themselves. And you may not think about it like that. You may just think it's just one of those bad days, but it can be consistent. Emotional abuse is also when somebody is gaslighting you. When the person begins to tell you that you don't know what you're doing. That's how you are always talking. You don't know anything. That's emotional abuse. If you go out with a young man and every time you try to speak in the presence of his friends, he says, what do you even know about Hillary Clinton? That's emotional abuse. In other words, you are unintelligent. And he says it in front of everybody. And he doesn't see anything wrong with it. When you start complaining, he says something to the effect of, but you don't know anything about Hillary Clinton now. You want to disgrace me where people are.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So emotional abuse is much more difficult. And it's very insidious because the person doesn't realize it grows slowly. It grows slowly until your communication is fractured. So if the person is an analytical person, you're going to observe that this person is no longer contributing to comments in their family. Whether it's a man or a woman who loved current affairs, is interested in Joe Biden, the Russian-Ukraine war, the person doesn't talk about it even when the TV is running. Something is going on.
if somebody is planning on getting married, are there signs they should be looking out for an abuser, emotional abuser, especially emotional abuse or mental abuse?
Okay, so if somebody keeps saying to you, I don't like your hairstyle for like 20 times. What's this hair you are wearing like a chicken?
Eh?
Yeah. There are men who say that, and the girl stays. First sign, when he starts complaining about how you look. I mean, I'm not talking about when you wear things that are exposing your body and if a boyfriend says to you, I'm not sure this dress will work. It's also manner. It's also language. When somebody says to you, I better go and remove that dress, Joe, waiting be this way you wear. That's emotional abuse.
Yeah.
If somebody decides that every time you need to go to a restaurant, it's the restaurant she wants, not the one you want, if you're a man. Every time is her own restaurant. It starts small like that. It's controlling.
It's control.
That's control. Oh, I don't like your hairstyle. Why don't you cut the one that all boys cut now? They're trying to change your personality.
To fit what they want. Why can't I be myself?
Yes. You know, so, I mean, those things, they're small.
But they're there. Listen, we're coming right back. We're going to take a very short break and we're going to continue our conversation with Mrs. Eugenia Abu. Back in a moment, everybody. Thank you and welcome back to the Moment Show. We're still talking with my really great sister, Eugenia Abu. Now, I want to ask you a question. Why don't victims talk?
You see, usually an abuser says to you, if you tell your sister, I'm going to kill you. If you tell another person you want to break our marriage. If you tell your family members they are going to hate me. So there's a threat. And they are afraid of that threat. That's number one. Number two, they don't believe there's anyone like them in the world. They think this thing is happening to only them. And that, you know, so if it's happening to only them, why do I want to share my dirty linen in the public? Number three, they think no one will believe them. Because there have been parents who you go to and you say, my wife, and they say, that lovely girl you brought home cannot do that. Or you say, my husband, they say, that boy we married from Chief so-so and so's family is a gentleman. Then you have nowhere to go. So because of that, they interiorize it. But you see, talk helps. Talk therapy is the best way to, first of all, start healing from emotional abuse. It takes time before they can talk, but they just need a good friend that they can talk to, a good family member who they trust. Because people who are abused don't trust people. They are afraid to trust you because you might go and tell their spouse.
Share it on it.
Or share it on Facebook. And then the shame becomes even deeper. So they don't talk about it because of that fear, because of that threat, and because they haven't talked about it for a long time. So to open up is work. And it has to go slowly, gradually.
In fact, that leads me to the next question. Sometimes when you have people that you're working with, you know, you're a caregiver, and they are not getting it, and you want to keep pushing them along. How do you do it without putting too much pressure or even discouraging them? But you know you need to tell them that, look, you can overcome, you can do this, but they're not getting it, or they don't seem to be moving as fast.
Psychologically, they've been blocked for a while. And sometimes they might even say something to you like, my wife is actually a nice person. It's you who can't see. The husband beats them.
They protect them.
Yes, the husband beats them and they say to you, my husband is very nice. He just has a temper. That's what they say. The abuser uses psychology to keep you down. Because if you rise, he's chairman of the association in the estate. He's chairman of PTA. He's living a lie. You are the only one who knows the truth. You're about to out him. He's not going to accept for you to do that. And they go to the extreme of wanting to harm you, wanting to kill you if they think you're going to talk.
Wow.
So there's that innate fear. And then there are also women who are thinking to themselves, women and men, by the way, who are thinking to themselves, if I talk and he decides we won't stay married or won't be partners anymore, where do I start from?
Start from.
I don't have accommodation. How do I feed? How do I maintain my lifestyle?
The children.
Yes.
Is one
what about the
reason.
children?
Yes.
But you see, unless you are healthy, you give only what you have.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If you are not healthy, you cannot look after your children.
Children.
You cannot even look after yourself. And more than anything else, a woman or a man must have something doing. You become dependent. If you have an abuser and he's giving you everything, he's going to do what abusers do. So he's going to beat you, then he's going to take you shopping, then he's going to tell you he's sorry. Then the cycle is dangerous because he's going to apologize, say he will never do it again, then he does it again.
And sometimes they say it's your fault that I beat you.
Yes, that's gaslighting. In your mind, you are thinking it's your fault. It's not your fault. And you need somebody to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. Because the mind is not loyal. It's very soft. So a man can manipulate you, or a woman can manipulate you wherever you find yourself.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Stockholm syndrome, which is basically your coping mechanism for staying with an abuser. So you begin to tell yourself, if you go elsewhere, you may not get life this good. Sometimes kidnappers, the people they kidnap fall in love with them because they don't have any other place to go.
Yeah.
So the Stockholm syndrome is a coping mechanism by the person who is abused.
Right.
It happens even if you're married.
Wow.
You tell yourself, where will you go? Who will take you now? Oh, you are old now, you have 4 children, or your parents are no longer alive, where will you go? But you know what? You can start from somewhere.
Yes.
If you have something doing, you can start from somewhere.
Honestly, I wish we had more time. It's amazing. There's so much that we need to talk about still, but for this show, time is not very friendly.
Absolutely.
But would you please come back again?
I will. I promise.
Would you come back?
I
Can
will.
you help me with this fantastic sister? Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and may God continue to strengthen your work and prosper your work.
Amen.
In
Thank you so
Jesus'
much.
name.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to be right back in just a moment. All right, welcome back, everybody. And in this segment, we are going to the Ask a part of our show where I get to take questions from the studio audience, and to guide us, as always, Ola.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you so much. We'll move straight into the questions. Welt, please, your question.
Okay, I have 2 questions. The first one, does being born from such homes makes one aggressive? And if yes, how do you help such a person? And again, the second question is, growing up as a child, and now you are mature and old enough to be a wife, and seeing how your mom was treated, she never enjoyed her marriage till her children grew up, and you are scared of marriage. You don't believe any man will ever be better than your father.
Now, a person that has suffered from that and is now thinking, this same thing is going to happen to me because it happened to my mother, actually needs a lot of help and counseling, needs to talk about it, and you just really need help. And, I believe that as Christians, that we have, that the love of Christ is what can redeem us and get us back. Right? When we know the Lord, when we begin to know the Lord, and then see, that there are other people that aren't doing this thing, that it's not normal. You need to be, that person would have to come to the realization that not every man is like that. Not every man will do the same thing that their fathers did to their mothers. But again, it is what it is. So you really have to actively work on it to overcome it. But I believe very much it's possible.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Mrs. Chizoba.
Thank you, Pastor, for this wonderful moment. My question is, they say where two elephants fight is the grass that suffers. So my question is, these children in the abusive relationship, how do we help them out? Is there any body organizations that are into helping children so that we can create the awareness and children that are in abusive marriage will be able to know the kind of people they will meet to help them out to change their mentality? Really, I have seen people who have different negative aspects of life because of the family they find themselves.
Thank you
very much.
Absolutely. Very good question, Chizoma. You see, the problem with that is that when they're children, they're under the control of their parents, right? So it's difficult to get them help. But if they're in the church and they're church members, that's our opportunity to talk to them and to love them and to teach them a better way, And in school, when they join like the Boy Scouts and all these kind of societies, Red Cross, where they begin to see some other things, like a Big Brother, Little Brother kind of organizations. I think that's how you can help them. And I believe that with that, some of those kids can get the help they need. I'm not aware of any real formal organization, but they could be out there, and we will look and actually come back and see if there are.
It's been quite enlightening. I have a friend who has an only child, a boy. And the boy now is a young adult. They're always at loggerheads. The woman, I don't know, I really can't judge her. She's my friend, we are close, but it's not everything I know about her. But the child defects to me on many matters. And they're always arguing. Could it be that the woman is being abused or emotionally because hurting people who are hurting, hurt other people a lot. And the closest person to this woman is her son. They're always arguing. And this boy is not happy. Good boy. I look up to him, my son. So he comes to talk to me a lot. What do I do to both of them?
All right. Again, it's kind of difficult to know what the source of their conflict is and why they argue all the time. It could be that there is something going on in there that, one doesn't know. But I think how to help them is to continue to talk to him and let him see that, his mother is his mother and he needs to learn to deal with it, and perhaps even get him to talk about what maybe happened in their past and why they don't see eye to eye. Talking helps a lot, because if he begins to open up and say, look, or maybe when he was younger, maybe she beat him to compensate for, what was being done to her. You've got to first get him to talk to you, trust you enough to say, look, this is why I don't like this woman. And then hopefully try and get, resolve whatever issues there are. Also pray for them. Praying helps as well. Praying helps. All right. Well, so that's all that we can take today in this episode. It's been such an enlightening and, just eye-opening show for us, the whole issue of emotional and mental health. Now, I know that there are people watching us right now. You're watching me right now, and you're going through this, and you're feeling like you're alone in the world. Please know this. You are not alone. You are not alone. You're not the only person going through this. Other people have gone through this, and they've come out, and they've been able to overcome. And so there's help for you. On our screen right now are our numbers. You can call any of those numbers, and we can try and get you help. I want you to know that Jesus died for you, and there is help. He is the healer. He can heal that heart that is broken. I also want you to know that please speak to somebody. Speak up. Speak up. There is no amount of shame that's worth your life. You need to speak up and get the help that you need. And know that I am praying for you, that the good Lord will heal you perfectly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, now, we're always blessed in our show, on our show. Every episode, we always have an anointed vessel of the Lord that comes to bless us with a worship song to thank our God and to glorify Him. And today is no different. And we're blessed to have a minstrel, a lover of God, a woman, a young woman that is doing wonderful things for the Lord and is blessing thousands of people with the gifting that God has given her. And she's in our studio today to bless us with a wonderful number. So you enjoy it, and please don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until then, God bless you and keep you. And let me welcome Yada to take us home. God bless you. See you later. Bye for now.
So it's the moment with Jesus, the best lover, the one whose love does not hurt. He heals and He is forever there, unchangeable in the way that He loves us. Such warmth that comforts us every time. The one we can talk to, tell about every one of our fears. Just bless the one who loves you. For with you, Lord, I can be open and unashamed. With you, Lord, I can be naked and have no fear. 'Cause I found a friend in you that I can trust. That is why you remain my great physician. For you look past my sin, my guilt and shame. You poured your love, oh. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. With you, I do not try to perform. You look past it all, and you poured your love on me, God. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. In this place of yours, I am my best. In this place, I'm free, 'cause you love and look beyond me. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. In your love, there is no fear. Your love casts out all fear. Oh, perfect love has looked beyond me. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. Here is my song of thanksgiving. I'm the one. You have shown mercy. Yeah, you have shown me mercy. You have shown me mercy. On my own, I'm not qualified, but I'm the one. You have shown your mercy. You have shown me mercy. You have shown morning by morning. Your mercies I see. I'm the one that you have shown your mercy. You have shown your mercy. You have shown your mercy. Your love does not fail. Your compassion does not fail. You are ever here. Not a moment that you are not here. Wrapping me in your loving arms. Wrapping me in your loving arms. Wrapping me in your loving arms. I am healed of every pain because of your love, because of your mercy. Your spirit comforts us. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. Begin to wave those hands to the one who shows you mercy. Rabana Makoshaba. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. You see my flaws, you see my mistakes, you know my guilt, you know what nobody knows, yet you look beyond